Thank you. Thank you. Oh, really? Thanks. Wow. Life is full of seasons, isn't it? Now, standing on that scale at the very end of that thing, busting out that paper, I'll tell you, but I didn't see any other contestant until I broke through that paper. I didn't get to see Rudy or anybody else because they had me sequestered at that point. I hadn't seen anybody in months. I didn't know how well they'd done. All I knew was what I had done. And I'm standing behind that paper, and the guy had his hand on my shoulder, and he said, "No, when I let go of your shoulder, that's when you can go. But wait till then, because it's live TV." 17 million people were tuned in. 17 million people. My heart is just, I can hear what's going on out there. I can't see anything, and my heart's just beating through my chest, and he lets his hand off that thing, and I bust through that paper, and the first thing I did was I smiled and put my hand up, and I never knew I did that till I watched the show. That was like my, on the scale, like, yeah, I didn't know that. But then first thing I did was go look at Rudy and see how he'd done, because I hadn't seen him. But that was a champion moment. Standing on that scale, lose 239 pounds in 210 days. In 6 months, 3 weeks, and 5 days. The world champion of weight loss. and not only that, that was the culmination of a lot of prayers. A lot of prayers not just by me, but by others. Life is full of seasons like that. Sometimes you're on top. Sometimes you're on top of the mountain. You see the other side. You go, look at this beautiful view. Sometimes you're standing down at the bottom of the mountain. The mountain's right in front of you, and you can't see anything but the problem. And that's a scary place to be. Have you ever felt like hopeless like that? Like in some area of your life, it might be your finances or your weight or your marriage or your son or daughter is struggling in something. Whatever it is, or an addiction. Trust me, I've had plenty of those. And it's tough when you're standing there and that mountain is facing you right, and you can't see. I couldn't even see. I felt like the mountain, I couldn't even see the top. It's kind of like at the Biggest Loser in Calabasas, we would hike up these mountains behind the ranch, and you would go up, actually the clouds would be, and you would get up above, every now and then that fog, the clouds would come in so low that you'd be up above the cloud. All you could see was the clouds, and all you could see was the tip of these mountains you were walking on. That was crazy. I felt like I was at the bottom of the mountain, couldn't even see the top. How am I going to get over this mountain? 460 pounds at my biggest point. I mean, let's face it, you're 460, you lose 50 pounds, you're still in the 400s. I mean, there's a lot of people in here who goes, man, I wish I could lose this 10 pounds. I had 230 pounds to lose. That's a mountain. It's no bigger than some that you face. It's no bigger than one my wife has faced. We're all the same. And life is full of seasons. So no matter what season you are, it's okay. But I'm here to tell you one thing, that you can believe in hope. That song, no matter how far we run, you'll never give up on us. You'll never stop loving us. He does not turn, God does not turn his back on you. I don't care what you've done. You may be the most unworthy person on the face of the earth like me. And it don't matter, because he'll never turn his back on you. He's got his chest faced right straight towards you with his arms open wide, waiting for you. And he's devising ways for you to come back to him, no matter what it is. Now, he doesn't cause all the struggles in our life. Some things just happen, right? I mean, there was a time when Darcy and our son was 8 years old. And I got a call from work, and Darcy said, I'm taking David to the hospital. Well, what's going on? She said, something's wrong. His lips are black. They look like they've exploded. They were inside out. She said, I have no idea what's wrong. We take him to the Children's Hospital in Tulsa, and we didn't know what was wrong. We finally found out he had Stevens-Johnson syndrome. That's scary. If you don't, I didn't know what it was. In fact, God sent this infectious disease doctor right to that hospital that he'd done the only other case for the last few years in Oklahoma. He knew exactly what it was. But it still didn't mean the fight was over. And whenever our son is sitting there struggling, what happens is your mucous membranes, your lips, your eyelids, your lungs, inside of your lungs, anything that has mucous membranes in it is burns, becomes first-degree burns. Actually, some people, when it goes to a stage 3, their skin